we finally got there. It is the final, yes, the final maths lesson from Stunning Lad 1. This is the end of the series, and at the end, after this video, there will be a compilation video showing you all the tasty bits, all the important bits from all my previous maths videos. Be sure to watch that. It's got some fantastic tips and all the important, basically the crux of the matter. It's all going to be in that video. That's coming up after this one. What's this video all about? This is about fractions. Adding fractions, subtracting fractions, multiplying fractions, and dividing fractions. Quite a lot to get through here. It's not too hard. Let's get started. A nice easy one. Always start off with easy ones, so we get a feel of it. When your denominator is the same, it's a simple case of adding both numerators together and putting them over the denominator. You don't add up the two denominators, or if there's 3, 4, 5, 6 or 27 fractions get added, the denominator is just one number. They do not get added together. Now, these are the same denominator. All we have to do is add up the numerators. 1 plus 2. That gives us our answer. 3 over 3. 3 over 3 is equivalent to 1. Add on to the next example. It's really quite simple once you get the hang of it. Okay, I'm trying 3 now, okay. As to say, we're just going to make it a little bit harder as we go along there. Now, we do have a little bit of work to do here, but not much, because we have uncommon denominators, okay? They're not the same, so they've got to be the same. We've got to find a common denominator, basically a sum, a figure, a number that all these denominators will fit in. Let's see if we can think of one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 12. Okay. Now, even if let's say I'd got it wrong, and let's say it was 6, but 12 would have been okay as well. Not to worry, because we can reduce it at the end. Okay, as long as these 3 numbers there fit in to one number, you can get to the right sum at the end. So we're looking for a common denominator, and that is going to be, we'll put that down there, 12. Okay, so what we're looking at now is fractions that look like this. We've got to ask ourselves from the top here, how many 2's go into 12? 6, okay? 6 2's go into 12. So what we have done with the bottom, we must do with the top. Now, as you see, that numerator is 1. So 6 times 1 is 6. You see, we've multiplied that by 6, so we've got to multiply that 1 by 6 as well. The next one is 3. We ask ourselves, how many 3's go into 12? 4. 4 3's go into 12. And what is the numerator? 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. Next step, the final fraction that we're adding up here. We're asking ourselves, how many 4s made up that 12 that we've already got written down there? 3. 4 went into 12 3 times. Now this is slightly different because we've got a 2 up here, so it's 3 times 2, okay? 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6/12. Right. Now, as before, as I say, the denominator doesn't change. You don't have to add up. We don't have any more work to do with the denominator, but we do over here. 6 plus 4 plus 6. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 6 is 16. So 16/12 is our answer. That is the equivalent to 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 2/4. And that can be shown in a reduced form as well. We ask ourselves what number goes into both the numerator and the denominator. And we can see that 4 does, doesn't it? Because 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So it's 4/3, or that is equivalent to 1 1/3. Okay. And another example coming up right now. Well, I reappeared. I looked a bit faint, didn't I? I feel a bit faint as well, I don't mind telling you. Okay, and we're going to move on to another example. Oh, indeed. Right, okay now. Just making sure you got the hang of it here. Okay, we're now asking what is 2/4 plus 3/8 plus 7/2. Okay, you always say 7/2 because you can't say 7/2. Okay, so 7/2. Right, okay, we're looking for a common denominator here, and straight away we found one. It's great when this happens. It doesn't always happen, as I'll explain in the next problem. It can be a bit of a faff to try and find a common denominator. However, dead easy here. You worked it out yourself, haven't you? It's 8. Because 2 goes into 8, 4 goes into 8, so that could be shown as our common denominator, 8. It always stays the same. Now it's a simple case of doing to the top what we have done to the bottom. So basically, the sums have all changed. That is how we are adding them up now. Okay, we're no longer adding up 2/4 plus 3/8 plus 7/2. So we have multiplied the denominator by 2 to get 8. So therefore we have to multiply the numerator by the same amount. So 2 times 2 is 4. And the same thing applies here. 8. Now, we didn't have to multiply the denominator at all here, did we? It stayed the same. The 8 in the middle of our equation is the common denominator. So that stays the same, okay? So basically it's 1 times 8 was 8, so 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, that stays the same. We've not changed it, so we don't have to change the numerator. Right. Down here, 8, right, we have had to multiply the denominator by 4, okay, by the power of 4. So we've got to do exactly the same to the numerator. 4 times 7 is 28. So it's now 4/8 plus 3/8 plus 28/8. Okay? Simple case. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 28 is 35. That gives us an improper fraction of 35 over 8. Right, so we want to show that now as a whole number, and all we've got to do there is basically do a little division. Put 8 into 35, okay? Which is basically the same principle when you are trying to work out a decimal. Okay, remember that? The denominator goes into the numerator. So that's what we are. So we can quite easily work it out. It's 4, isn't it? Because 4 times 8 is 32. That's as close as we can get to the 35 there. So we'll just put this up here. Put a big 4. Okay. 4, and we're left with 3, aren't we? So that there is your answer. You can show it as an improper fraction, 35 over 8, or all nicely tidied up over there, 4 and 3/8. So that is the answer to 2 quarters plus 3/8 plus 7 over 2. Sometimes it can be quite hard to find a common denominator. This is the main problem with adding and subtracting fractions. So a nice, quick and easy way to do it is this. I only advise this when you've got 2 numbers. If you've got a stack of numbers, you end up getting a great big long number and it's quite hard to work with. Makes it all a little bit complicated. So only advise this with 2 numbers. That's all we're doing there. Look at that. We're multiplying both of these denominators, okay, to get a common denominator of, we'll put that down there, 72. Because we know for a fact that 8 times 9 is 72, and we know for a fact that 9 times 8 is 72. So therefore we know for a fact that 8 will go into 72 and 9 will go into 72. You get that? So we're saying, how many times does 8 go into 72? It goes in 9 times. So we've got to multiply that numerator by the same amount. So that would be 27. I'm just going to do it like this to just explain it a little bit better for you. 9 into 72 goes in 8. Goes in 8 times. So you've also got to multiply the numerator by 8, which gives us 16 over 72. See how that's worked out? Then it's a case of adding these two together, and we can do it in our head. Just 37, 43, and of course, as you know, that denominator stays the same. So 43 over 72. And I hope you get that okay. Right, now subtraction is exactly the same as addition, with the difference being, of course, we're subtracting. And here, if your common denominator is the same, we're all fine and dandy. It's a case of going 3 minus 1 is 2, And there is your common denominator. So there's that sum done. 3/10 tenths minus 1/10 is 2/10, which makes perfect sense. Of course, they're not always easy as that, but there's not really too much to it. Not really. Not once you get the sort of basic principle of it. Right, here we have got uncommon denominators. So we've got to find, first thing we do is find a common denominator, exactly the same as in addition. And one number springs to mind straight away, and that is the number 21, because I know that 3 times 7 is 2, and of course you can do this little trick anyway. You can do 7 times 3 here, you know, because you know for a fact that is going to work out. Okay, 7 in 2, don't forget we're taking away this time, 7 in 2, 21 goes in 3 times, so it's 3 times 4, isn't it? Because we've multiplied that by 3, so we've got to multiply the numerator by 3, so that will make that 12, and 3 goes into 21, 7 times 2 is 14. Don't forget, we're not doing anything with the denominator here. 12 minus 14 actually gives us a negative number, which is fine. That gives us a negative fraction. There's not a problem with that. Negative fractions are all part of mathematics. And that gives us a negative fraction of minus 2 over 21. And this is the final one we're doing in this particular video. The next video we'll be moving on to the multiplication of fractions and the division of fractions. And trust me, it's actually easier than this. Now I've been very careful to make sure that all the fractions that I've got here this time are all in their lowest form. Okay, I've got 1/2 minus 1/3 plus 3/4 minus 1/10. We're looking for a common denominator there. Sometimes it takes a bit of working out, okay? You know, you've got to do a little bit of maths, some multiplication, some head scratching. But it can save you a lot of bother if you do work them out. Now, have a look at this other page here. Have a look at that. Now that's what can happen if you don't take a little bit of time to actually work out a common denominator. What we did there was we multiplied all the denominators. We got a great big figure of 240 when we could have got it much, much lower. And you're always really looking, well, we are always looking for the lowest common denominator. I mean to say you can bring that down. You can bring that down. It's not incorrect. You can bring it down. We finished up 196 over 240. Obviously that can be brought down to a lower figure. But so much easier, because what we did there was we went 2 times 3 times 4 times 10, and we got 240. In actual fact, with a little bit of maths, we would have found out that 60 is actually the common denominator. One quarter of what we got last time. Right, now let's do this together. 2 into 60 goes in 30 times, so therefore the numerator becomes 30. 3 goes into 60 20 times, so the numerator becomes 20. 4 goes into 60 15 times. 15 times 3 is 45. 10 goes into 60 6 times, so the numerator, 6 times 1, it's 6, and that all makes perfect sense, you see, because a half is equivalent to 30 over 60, a third is equivalent to 20 over 60, 3/4 is equivalent to 45 over 60, and 1/10 is equivalent to 6 over 60. Now don't forget how we're doing this one. 30 minus 20. We'll do this in our head. Well, we'll try to. 30 minus 20 is 10. Okay? 10 plus 45 is 55. 55 minus 6 is 49. And there we have our answer. Not very neatly written, I do apologise. But it's 49 over 60. I will see you all in the next show. That's multiplying fractions and dividing them. Look forward to seeing you there.